Hello lovely people, welcome back to my channel. I hope you are all well. We are today going to do another guide to a musical video or a show. They don't have to be musicals. This one is going to be all about 101 Dalmatians, currently doing a UK tour up and down the country. So if you want to know what to expect from this show in relation to sensory content and other warnings, and also my experience of seeing the show, stick around and get into it in 2 seconds. So we're back with another guide to video. If you don't know these videos, basically what I do with each show I see for the most part is do 2 separate videos. One video where I share my thoughts, my feelings, a kind of review, but it's not really a review. That will be my next video. In this video we will discuss any sensory or content warnings that I have from a show, and my experience seeing the show as a whole. So as I have just said, today we are going to be talking about 101 Dalmatians, currently doing a UK tour in the UK. Wow, I was so very professional for a short period of time. So close. But yeah, I went to see it when it was in Wolverhampton, at the Wolverhampton Grand. It has now moved on to pastures new, if you will. The reason that I have moved things around is because I had Hello Dolly, which I wanted to put up before this one, because Hello Dolly had a shorter time left. So it's been a couple of weeks since this show has been in Wolverhampton, but in relation, it's been like a couple of days since I saw it. So like I said, this video will talk about my experience in the show, what my view was like from my seat, and any sensory-esque problems that I encountered with the show. So let's do that. Firstly, like I said, it's a tour. So I saw it in the Wolves Grand. I know the Wolves Grand quite well, so where I normally talk about things like toilets and the theatre itself, I feel like if I did that for this video for every tour I see, it would just be repeating myself. Wolves Grand is one of my safe places in the world, so I can't say a bad word. Okay. In regards to my seat, I sat in the stalls, and I sat in, bear with because I didn't get this information up earlier, I sat in, or my tickets were N4 and N5, which is pretty much the back of the stalls. We did have a slight overhang. I will put my view of the seat here for you to look at. For the most part I didn't miss anything by being one-sided. One thing to mention about this show in relation to the stalls is that there is a possibility that in the start of Act 2 there may be characters walking around you. In my venue I had the 2 lead human characters of Danielle and Tom looking around the auditorium area, if you will, trying to find their dogs. They had torches that they were holding about head height, and they were shining it around the auditorium area. Where we were sat, it did kind of go into my eyes a couple of times, but by the end of it I just decided to look down for my own well-being. Lights mess my head up quite quickly and give me a headache, and I didn't want to deal with that. I know from talking to friends who saw it in a different venue, they do tend to come into the stalls area, but their theatre was slightly different. So it's just something to be wary of if you are a stalls fan like me and you are going to be sitting to see this show in the stalls. That was a little mini sensory warning before we have the sensory warnings. Nice. And apart from that, the other things to be aware of with this show, which I found, firstly in Act 1, there is a lightning sound effect and crash at one point. I think it's pretty soon before the arrival of Corella's character. They kind of use that sound effect a few times when it's Corella's time to shine, if you will. It's not a loud sound and the flash is incorporating with the lightning or the thunder sound, but it is just something to be aware of. Also in Act 1 there is a moment where Cruella walks into the home of Danielle and Tom to try and take the puppies. Spoiler alert. They say no, and when Cruella walks in, she has balloons. She's carrying balloons to like kind of celebrate that she's going to have the puppies. And when they say no, she chooses to pop every single balloon. I hate balloons, I hate popping balloons, so the moment she started that, I was like, I got ready. They weren't loud bangs, but if you're not a fan of a balloon pop, and if you are pretty close to the front, it is something to be aware of, because I wasn't prepared. The other thing to be aware of is in Act 2. Now in Act 2 there is a few times where there is kind of a spark mini pyrotechnic-esque device used. First time it is used just after a puppy pees on an electric board. I did hear what I just said. And after that happens, there is a spark pyrotechnic to indicate that the electric device is no longer working. There is another set of those. That is a one on the one side of the stage. Then there is a second set, which is two. I think they were pretty much front. That happens just after something else electric happens. There is a curtain brought round a cage and something happens inside the cage at the end of that happening, which is kind of to indicate that they have been shocked. There is two sparks that come up. Again, they're nothing major. If you think of like a panto when one of the magical characters comes up and it's like it's one of those, but if you are someone who is not expecting that to happen, it is something to be wary of. They are the key things to be aware of if you're going to see this show. There is nothing too majorly stressful and loud about it, but those things that I have mentioned are things that cause me, I'm not going to say distress, but discomfort was one thing that I could say. As with most of these, it's the things that I find have caught me off guard, the things that I mention. But as I always say, if you've seen this show and you think there's something that I've missed, or there's something that maybe made you a bit anxious or worried, then feel free to leave them in the comments, because I am just one person and every person is different. But there we are, that is pretty much all I need to say in this video. I'm going to now film my review chatty video for this show, so if you want to know my thoughts and feelings, stick around and you'll see that in next video. But all that's left to say is the usual. Thank you very much for watching. I hope you enjoyed. I love you all lots. And lastly, so long, farewell, auf Wiedersehen, and adieu. Bye.